sounds like there's high CDO turnover because there's no clear division of labor. You're brought in to fix data governance and quality, but you don't have the remit to actually fix that. And you need to have a high perceived value. But that was actually on that last point there on the high perceived value. Why is it that that's difficult to achieve?
I think if you take a look at most of us and how we grew up, to be an effective CDO, you need to know data. And to know data, you didn't grow up in the business. You either were a data architect, you were a data engineer, you were a data scientist, or at a minimum, you were a manager managing the individual contributors, or you were an MDM lead, or you were a data steward. Whatever role you held, you kind of clawed your way up because it's not like this is a natural and easy trajectory to achieve. It just isn't. In any number of those positions, you're part of that defensive playbook, not the offensive playbook. You're very much a back office contributor. And so you're not front and center. And when you're not front and center, you don't develop the muscles of communication. You don't develop the muscles of EQ. And this was the first lesson I learned, like legitimately. And I think there's a part in the book, but also something that I talk about. And Joe Reese and I actually are teaching a course on this on Maven. The higher up you go, the less it's actually about your IQ, and the more it's about your BQ, SQ, and EQ, your business quotient, your social quotient, and your emotional quotient. I had no clue. And I would say that I built a lot of cool stuff in my first C suite position. I fell on my face, not knowing that the first three were like the most critical components of being a successful executive. So while everyone couldn't debate that, yeah, she's smart, she knows her stuff, I did not understand the complexities of what it takes to build a relationship in order to scale everything I was building. Because a lot of it is a leap of faith and a lot of it is still human to human interaction. And so that was a hard lesson that I learned. And so I've always placed relationships first now, at least with business leaders. And that doesn't come natural to us when we've played in back office role for a really long time.
Well said. Wow. I'm sure that resonates with a lot of listeners out there. That kind of experience as people have grown up, with these incredible technical skills in data science and machine
Yeah,
learning and engineering. And then as they've made their way up in organization, they get outflanked by
totally.
people who are, yeah, great at kind of manipulating the social system at the top of the
And
hierarchy.
it's so frustrating. Like, have you ever had a manager and you're like, how did this ding dong get this role? Like, this person legitimately doesn't know the space. I don't understand. Or I've had peers where I'm like, why are you in this role? You clearly just said something that is so not true, but because no one else in the room understands our space, they can't tell the difference between fact and fiction. And then you realize that they moved up not because they were the smartest or the most competent. Um, it was because they leaned on all the other things and they just kind of, I hate to use the word weasel, but like I will because I don't have respect for people who don't know their space. But that's just what they did. And so if you ever wonder, how did this person become a manager? How did this person become the boss? Like they don't know the space. It's because they understood the EQ, BQ, and SQ and they aligned with the right individuals.